The park through which I take my semi-regular walks, like a dog or an old person, I have to be walked. I do it myself, you know, I take myself on these walks, but nevertheless, they're necessary, you know. Good for the health, apparently. Ooh, that shite. Health. What a load of garbage that is. What a stupid idea. Anyway, so I tell you my walk through. It's a long park, split up by a few roads, sort of cutting across it. And at one point, in one of these park sections, there's a little skate park area, but it's sort of like a few half pipes kind of joined together with a couple of other ramps. It's not a great skate park. It's more just like a bunch of shit to skate on, a few ramps, and that's about it. It's the sort of thing that's like, if you're skateboarding in the streets, you know, fucking old people or whatever, people in business suits will say, there's a skate park down the road, why don't you go there? And it's like, it's literally just half pipes. It's a very specific kind of skateboarding that you have to like be into and or good at to be spending your time doing. Anyway, just past that, there's a couple of basketball courts, sort of caged off, you know, in a sort of a sensible, suitable way. Which there's just fences around them. Really, it's not really a cage as such. But I've for the longest time I've lived here for maybe 6 or 7 years, and I've been coming here. I came here for university to where I live. And I've been coming here to shop for like comic books and stuff before that. Like, yeah, I've been around this place some time. And I've, for the most part, been aware of the basketball courts, but never really paid them too much mind. Just sort of like, oh, those are there. Yeah, cool. What I thought might be the case, which is the case sometimes with these kinds of things, is maybe they're part of like a club or a group or a league or something, or you need to be part of some organisation in order to have access to these, which can happen with like tennis courts and you know, various sporting courts of various kinds. So I was just never really sure. Recently, however, not necessarily for any reason, but it just happens to be the case that my interest in playing basketball has sort of reignited, maybe shown its head again, and I've been really intrigued by these basketball courts. So the other day I was up super early. I hadn't slept, I don't think, you know, just how it goes. I was taking my walk and I got to that point and I was like, do you know what, it's like 2 minutes out of the way and then back onto the main road that I normally walk on. So it's whatever. And I'm not in any hurry. I've got nowhere to be. I'm literally taking a walk. I'll walk by the courts. So I go past the basketball courts. I walk right up to the basketball courts. There's a guy on one of the courts. I think it's 2 courts. And then they're all like a fence around them and a fence between them with several gates around. And there was a guy on one of the courts doing stretches and stuff. And all of the gates were open, and I saw a sign that said it's part of the park, and not, you know, there was like not to be used by kids under the age of 3, and don't climb on the fences and that sort of thing, which was all very, very, very fair and reasonable and whatnot. So it appears the basketball courts are fair use, completely public, open to the public. I don't know if they do lock the gates at any point, but I was there at maybe 7 in the morning, and they were open. So that's a good thing, I suppose. And so today I bought a new basketball, because I've not had a basketball in many years. I think the last one I had, I ended up painting like a jack-o'-lantern face on for a Halloween fucking picture or whatever. But I've not played... See, because I used to play basketball. It was my favourite thing for years. Basketball was. You know, I skate, paint graffiti, you know, street culture, because I'm just so street, man. And basketball was... I fucking loved it. I loved it so much. I didn't really care to watch it, which is almost like the opposite of a lot of sort of things. Is, you know, like football. So many people watch football, but not so many people actually like genuinely play it. You know, British football, that is soccer. You know, they might have a kick about every now and again, but whereas I don't have any real interest in watching or keeping up with basketball, but in terms of playing it, it's so fun to play, to like throw the ball around, get it in the hoop. And see, my big thing, I know I've spoken about this here and there before, but it's relevant now, so it's shut up. My big thing was, get ready for it, ball handling skills. Something's never changed today. It's just I just sit at home and masturbate a lot instead of playing basketball. Because for the longest time, I didn't really have access to a hoop. There was the public hoops at the leisure centre next to the skate park. But, like, you know, I didn't always fancy going down there. So I'd just be outside my house, either in the back garden or in the front sort of parking area, bouncing the ball and just practising and stuff. And it's one of those things that I happened to be good at almost straight away. I think there was a video game called Street Hoops, which I got. It was like a couple of quid on the Xbox, on the original Xbox, and I was like, oh, Street Hoops. It's got like graffiti on the cover and stuff, and it's like it's street, and I like street stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll get this game. I think it said maybe some of the songs on the soundtrack was like Ludacris and Exhibit and Cypress Hill, and I was like, that sounds good. That's my kind of thing. So I got that game and I played it and I loved it. Like, it was such a cool game, because it very much was like, it was everything I liked about basketball. It wasn't like NBA leagues and, you know, fucking player charts and tables of skill levels or whatever. It was different actual real life street courts from around the world. Like the New York Cage is a very famous one. And a bunch of like real life sort of street basketball players. I say street because they're known as street ballers or whatever, because they're not in like the NBA or those kinds of official leagues, but they are in their own sort of like street leagues and things. So yeah, it was real people, real street courts and things, and it was hip hop, and so much of the game was based around like, I guess, being cool, but yeah, all these like dribbling skills and ball handling skills and just keeping the ball away from the other player. And like what you could do in the game was break the ankles of players in front of you, so you could like do a dribble move in such a way that the player in front of you sort of stumbles, and then you can run past them, because that happens in real life. So a lot of the players on that team, I think the game was sort of made in conjunction with the And One basketball team. That's And One, which is like a basketball clothing brand, and they have their own team, and they like go around and One. Look at the And One mixtapes; they're on like YouTube and stuff. They're really cool. But yeah, they had all these like real basketball players who I guess play for And One. Crazy skills. Some of them are just like good at dunking. Some of them are just good at basketball. They're just fucking good. And then some of them specifically are really good at like dribbling and handling the ball and crazy skills. I fell in love with the game straight away, and I already liked basketball. Like, I liked basketball for years and years previous to that, but never really fucked with it. I like we had a basket. I think I had a Utah Jazz basketball. It was like the purple and turquoise kind of color, the Utah Jazz colors. That was just around. I think I got it one year for like Christmas, thinking like, oh, it would be cool to have a basketball, and then I just like never used it. So I still had that. I got hold of a pump, I pumped it up, and then started fucking around with it. And yeah, like I say, I got really good. I think I didn't go to the public courts or anything at first, because in the same way of like painting graffiti, I didn't want to go there and just be shit and look silly. So I spent lots of time outside my house practicing first. And yeah, I just sort of got it, like in terms of handling the ball and like having it roll across my hand, like go like have the ball like this and then like roll it so it rolls sort of around my hand and then across my arms and spin it on my finger, bounce it in between my legs. I could bounce it behind my back and like through my legs, under my knees, or with my knees. I could dribble it with my knees, like walking forwards, and like bounce it under one knee, the other knee, one knee, the other. And I could also actually get it in the hoop. I could shoot really well. I was really good. Not all the time, but probably 7.5 times out of 10 it would go in when I intended it to. I was good. I'm not just saying like, oh, I quite liked basketball. I was pretty good at it. I was really fucking good at basketball. I believe I have mentioned before how basketball was rarely played at school. It was either rugby or football was like the games that you play at school, which annoyed the fuck out of me because I hate both of those games. Largely because the people who play both of those games are absolute cunts in their own different respective ways. Because that's just how it goes. It's fucking England, isn't it? It's just a land of cunts. I mean, but that I'll get onto the basketball cunts at some point as well. But then sometimes if it was like heavy rain or something, like if it's raining, we'll still play outside for PE lessons at school. But if it's like really fucking raining, like blowing a gale where it's just ridiculous to play outside, we'd play inside in the hall, and then maybe it would be like dodgeball or bench ball, some shit. But every now and again, we'd play basketball. And those times, especially after I'd gotten that video game and got my own basketball and really been practicing and stuff, and then had spent time at the local courts. And it got to a point where at the local courts, I'd go there like 2-3 in the morning just to be alone, just to fuck around, practice my ball handling skills. Because it was like there was a fence around it, not a high fence, but you could just walk in and out. There was no gates or anything. Like there was a gap in the fence. Made to be there, and there were lights around, so you could play there at night. But yeah, there'd be people like coming back from clubs and stuff, and they'd see me playing basketball on my own and be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just chilling. It's quiet. There's no one around. It's a cool summer's evening. I'm just out here throwing the rock around." That's what they say in sort of like street ball terms. Pass the rock, and that means like pass the ball. Sort of street basketball lingo that I know of because I'm into that sort of thing. So we played basketball at school, and that was always just like such a good time. If I got to PE and I got my my PE kit on or whatever, and it was raining, and they go like, okay, everyone in the sports hall, we're playing basketball today. I'd be like, yes, fucking let's go, fuck yes. And I was so good. I was so good. They'd be like, if from a bird's eye view, if this is the hoop, and this is the how does a court look like this? Like, fucking, I think it's like that. I don't remember. It's been a while. Hoop, backboard, the fucking area, the 3-point area, or whatever, however that works. I'd be running this way. There'd be people like blocking and stuff here, whatever. And there'd be me running this way. I'd run, jump about here, and then like throw it like over the sideways. So this is my head. I'm facing this way. And this is one leg here as I'm running, and I'd throw it from this hand with my left hand, my non-dominant hand. I'd throw it over my head here, and it'd go in. Not every time, but a few times, and I was good at like layups and stuff. And the teacher would be like, "Okay," he'd go over the basics, like this is a layup, this is a 3-point, a free throw, a 3-point throw, whatever. And he'd be like, "Ewan, show us a layup," and I was like, "Oh, he wants me to do a layup, all right." And I'd do it, and I'd get it in, and everyone would be like, "Oh, Ewan's fucking shit. Why doesn't he just shut up and go away?" you know, people resented me because I was handsome and had a big dick. But I was so good at basketball, and I really fucking enjoyed it, to the point where that PE teacher in particular, I think he was in charge of the basketball team, the school basketball team, which we had, which I barely even knew was a thing. And he said, "Ewan, you're really good. You should join the team." But I didn't. And that's because the team was the popular kids in school, of which I was very much not one. And with good cause. They would not have wanted me on the basketball team. They'd have resented me being on the team. Because, you know, for one thing, I'd have been the star player, obviously. I mean, it goes without saying, really, doesn't it? But I just, you know, they'd get out of classes early because it was like, you know, there's a basketball game on, a tournament with one of the rival schools or whatever. So the basketball team is going to leave class early, get together, go change, and go play basketball. So they do that, get out of class early, and then you look out the window and you see them walking like down the steps outside the building, all like grouped together, bouncing basketballs and like being all cool and hip, and just like, ugh, bunch of fucking cunts. I hope the bus crashes on the way to the game and everyone dies. Everyone gets fucking incinerated. Fuck every last one of them. Bunch of bastards. And yeah, they just, you know, they knew who I was and I knew who they were. Really, we got on, me and them, but only in as much as I skateboarded, I wrote graffiti and stuff, or tried to draw graffiti at least. So they knew I was like, I was okay. I wasn't, you know, an absolute fucking turd of a kid or whatever. So they sort of left me to my own devices. They didn't bother me too much or anything, but it was never at the point where like they were inviting me to stuff or they wanted me involved, you know, and I which is almost funny, like I think they were basically ambivalent towards me. They just didn't care about me in essence, but I fucking hated each and every one of them because I was just that way inclined. You know, I'm naturally inclined towards hatred for my fellow man. And that's why, yeah, I didn't play basketball. And the thing is, it's one of those things that's like, you know, when you look back on your life and like, oh, I wish I did more here, more there. There are times I wish I sort of participated more. At university, I think I wish I would have gotten into more extracurricular stuff, like joined a club or something at university, Dungeons and Dragons, or even fucking basketball or something. But I just didn't. And part of me does wish that like I'd joined the school basketball team. Maybe I'd have made friends with some of these kids. I'd realise, oh, they're still cunts, but they're not that bad. And you know, I'd have gotten to play basketball and been in a league and, you know, maybe won some trophies for basket. Who knows? But it didn't happen because I was an angry, irritated, annoying, resentful little shit of a kid who was like, oh no, the cool kids are all on a basketball team. I don't want to be near them, so I'm not going to be on a basketball team. No, I want to stay true to the streets, man. I just want to play on my own outside my house and go to the courts at 2 a.m, which I didn't do then. I did that years and years later when I was like, you know, late teens, early 20s. I wasn't doing that when I was fucking 15, Jesus. Although I could have, but I didn't. But yeah, so I never like, and then basketball sort of trailed off. I think when I went to university, a lot of things died down. I stopped skateboarding around that time, stopped playing basketball because I was focused on illustration and drawing pictures, and that became the thing. And that's now all I spend my time doing. And I do take my regular walks, and I you know, I try to get out of the house every now and again, but I really, sometimes it's a struggle. I mean, sometimes it's a struggle in general just because of fucking depression and shit. But then there's been a few times where I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be fun just to go and, not like play basketball, but just to literally throw the ball at the hoop a few times, bounce the ball a bit. It'd just be a bit of fucking something to do, wouldn't it? And now I can. I bought a basketball. I have a. It's right there, right now. Earlier on, because I bought it earlier today. Went to the store in the morning. A big sports store. They sell kayaks and golf clubs and shit. And I was like, well, I gotta have basketballs. So I went in, fucking looked around a bit, and I saw basketballs, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. So I got a basketball. And then I got it home, sat it down, whatever, and I've been doing a bunch of shit. And then I got up from my desk and I turned around, and I obviously had sort of forgotten that I'd bought a basketball. And I turn around and I see it there, sat on the chair I put it on, and I was like, oh shit! The basketball fairy's been and left me a ball, left one of their balls for me to play with. And just seeing the basketball sat on my chair like that earlier on, I got an excited feeling. I was like, oh shit, cool. Fucking, I think tomorrow morning, provided the weather's all right, I'm gonna pop out and play some basketball for the first time in fucking, I don't know, close to 20 years. Not literally 20 years, but not far off. And I had a little play with it, not much, but a little, like, I can still spin it on my finger. I've still got sort of the handle of it. I also, minor detail, as I was walking home with it, because it's just a ball, it wasn't in any packaging or anything, I had it sort of on my hip with my arm over it. And I remembered one thing I really liked about playing basketball was all of my t-shirts had a dirty patch. If this is young me when I used to be like happy and stuff, wearing my huge t-shirts, my big baggy trousers, little shoes poking out, full of hope and happiness and cum. You hold your basketball here when you're walking around with it, and so all of my t-shirts had just dirt here. They were just filthy, just stained right here, because I play basketball on the sort of dirty concrete. It's not a court that they keep clean. It's just concrete that people walk on, people skate on. I'd skate on that court all the time. So the ball got filthy, so I'd carry it home like this, and just all of my shirts were filthy just from how often I was walking around with that basketball. It was good times. It was really, really good times, and I'm really looking forward to. I don't expect to recapture the magic, but just to fuck around with a basketball again, it'll be fun. What the fuck do you know about Zombies vs Robots by Chris Royal and Ashley Wood? Not a dicking amount of thing. Nothing new going on for me for comics at the moment. I think new issues of The Incredible Hulk, the Nick Klein one, are being released, but I'm not seeing them in the shop. It's going to be one of those like order online things at the moment, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know if they are being released. Maybe they're. I've got nothing new at the moment, which happens from time to time. I was looking at my shelf and I saw this, and I was like, oh man, I remember buying that when I was around the time I was playing basketball, years upon years ago. This was the only copy I could find, and it's a giant fucking extra special copy of Zombies vs Robots. So why the fuck not? It's just I just want to look at it. I just want to have a look at it. I know I've looked at it before, and I've got the smaller version that has the Amazon's bit in it as well. And I've got some of the newer comics that were released with extra little new bits they'd added to it and whatever. But this is like the OG fucking thing, isn't it? I'm not sure here if he's like pointing with his thumb but just has his pinky out, because to me it always looks like he's like picking his teeth with his little finger as he's talking, as people do. They'll be like, yeah, it's this, and they're like, sort of picking at their teeth a bit. That's what it looks like he's doing. I don't know if that is what he's doing, but I like to think it is, because it's cool. And this was one of my, not my introduction to Ashley Wood, but my introduction to Ashley Wood's comics. And so this is where I really sort of noticed him using these screen tone bits for bits of the bits and the bits. And I really, really tried to imitate that for a while at university. I really tried to like imitate this style as a whole. I may have some pieces in a box somewhere. I'll see if I can dig them up. But yeah, brilliant. Like Ashley Wood isms. Because they got this portal, this big portal in the science lab. Yeah, I like this as well. So there's a big like action sort of collage splash page thing just for the title page, like zombies versus robots. Zombies, brain-dead automatons and rotting reminders of man's hubris. Robots, brainless automatons and constructed remainders of man's potential. So that's like, and then cut to this panoramic. Is that on camera? Yeah, it is. Cool. Then Kirtland Underground Munition Storage Complex, New Mexico. That's underground munition storage complex. Cool, so fine, whatever. And then the building that's on top of the underground facility. Just a building. Very simple, but you get the ideas of grass and shit around. Very plain, very simple. There is some like block shadow stuff. I like it. I like its simplicity. And this panel sort of comes back later on. They're in a lab and they've got this big portal, and the center of it is just like these duotone dots. And then you've got a panel like this with the robot. They're getting this guy putting his spacesuit on or whatever, and there's the portal in the background, but it's just the outline of it using duotone dots, no ink lines or anything. And that's really effective because it looks like a background element, but you know exactly what it is based on the previous pages. I also love how rough and ready it is. Like there's these random, like, these aren't done on purpose necessarily, these like offshoots of duotone dots. If they're actual dots, I think they're added digitally. But even so, he's obviously just like rubbing them out on Photoshop, erasing them on Photoshop, and just like quickly and leaving little bits here and there and like bits of colour overlapping and stuff. And the ink lines themselves are all like very, very quick and roughly done. But done with purpose, because you can do quick and rough, but it can look like a messy piece of shit. But if you do it with purpose and skill, it's very, very effective. And this is almost all grey tones, but there is colour, but they're basically grey tones. So I like moments like this where you've got the darker grey with the lighter grey, and then the darker grey with the lighter grey and an even lighter grey, but then with duotone dots on top to even like shift those greys into slightly other darker or lighter tones. It's really, really good. And I like these panels and things where it's these moments of just two characters in space or whatever. I love this where he's climbing into the portal. That's really good. It shows the portal's off the ground. It's not like a Stargate that you just walk into. It's suspended or whatever. So he puts his hand to it, he's climbing up into it, and then he goes doop. His foot disappears into it, and he's gone. And then I like the reverse of this is the portal, I assume turned off, and so it's sort of like blacked out or greyed out with these duotone dots, and then I guess it's turned on here, so now it's glowing white. So the contrast there is really, really good. Also the like, I guess space helmet is really good with these reflections and stuff, and you can kind of see the guy's face behind them, and then having them silhouetted against the bright whiteness of the portal. So they're waiting around, nothing happens, so the scientists leave, and leaving the robot there, and then the robot leaves and there's just the portal suspended, still on. And then he deeps back in. He's got he's stuck, man, go give him a tug. And then they give him a tug and they pull him out, and his body's just fucking torn to pieces. Which is, I mean, that's really good storytelling. And you don't need any of the words. I was able to... I think I have read this book, maybe once or twice, but you get a clear idea of what's going on straight away, like without any words. Zombies versus robots, a building. Okay, we're at a building. I guess it's some kind of science lab. There's a portal. These people are talking about the portal and the portal and the portal. There's a robot. They're getting this guy suited up, and the guy goes into the portal, and then he comes out of the portal. They pull him out, and then he's fucked. Uh-oh. Perfect. And that's like the opening of the whole story, is those few pages into zombies versus robots, which came first. And this almost has elements of like, I don't know, old comics. Maybe not EC comics necessarily, but there is an old comic book vibe to this that I really like. Die, 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 die. I love the contrast, like the bright white and then duotone greying out some of these bits, and just the way he uses his pen lines for thick dark shadows and then white highlights and stuff, cut in with some white elements in there, and then the zombies all just look messy as fuck. Lots of scratchy scribbly lines, lots of blobs of Tipex or whiteout or whatever to like add whited out texture on top of some of the ink lines and things. There's the thing again, the lab. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I'm not even trying to go through the story, but the story sort of the story, you pick the story up through looking at the art, whether you try to or not, because it's that well done. And I've got to assume that's the writing as well as the drawing. So the team of Ryle and Wood both working together very, very well. I love that the body, the remains are being hoovered up by this robot and then put into a sack. And then Fritz, I guess one of the scientists, he's decided he's going to go in, but he's going to wear this fucking suit. Which is why, Fritz won't fare any better, but no, if he didn't make it, that means the human body alone can't withstand the forces. Which is why I'll be protected by considerably more than a spacesuit. Ba 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 ba, and I love this, like, Fritz! It's got like pressure gauges on it and stuff, looking like the Iron Man. I think that's quite a cool. It's a cool reveal of him getting in the thing, and the suit looks kind of like a little bit goofy, but you get it and it's whatever. But then this, I think, might be down to the size of the legs or something. But I love the pose of from behind of him walking towards the portal with that intent to go through. And he just like pokes the robot and it fucking crashes against the ground. Really, really good like sense of momentum of the robot hitting the ground like head and shoulders first and just like crashing into the floor. It's only a little thing, but like the little poke and then the gish. And Ashley Wood's good at that. When he does it well, he does it really well. Little moments, a push, a fall to the ground, about to go into the portal, going into the portal, coming out of the portal on the other side. Well, what do you know? I made it. To be continued. Bonus zombie versus robots filler page filler, and I like that. It's a page just to fill up the space. So call it what it is. It's a page filler. Here's some bonus artwork. Fucking cool. I'm into it. It still hurts. The panoramic shot of the facility, and then not then or even now, much later, the same facility, all like run down and overgrown with these big glass dome parts added onto it at some point. A couple of zombies on a giant tank robot. Yeah, even that's just really cool. Like, because if you see that, it's just like, oh, it's a robot with like guns and stuff and it's laid up against a tree. But then you see some zombies on it and you're like, oh shit. That's a big fucking robot. Oh no, the zombies, the robot's dead. Luckily, he wasn't my only friend. Oh, because he mentions, oh, blah, blah, blah. And worse than all that, you hurt my friend here. Luckily, he wasn't my only friend. These big blast doors open up and he's just got a shit ton of robots behind there. just plucking another one out of the cupboard as if it were a tin of beans. And then this guy's... Oh, I like this. So this is then and now. Top is then, bottom is now or later. Then and... We'll call it then and now rather than then and later. Then and now on the top and the bottom. Then and now on the top and the bottom. He's got all his robots together. And this guy's... fascinating, some sort of leprosy-ridden street trash. It looks like amazing, even in the future. You there, what happened to this building, to our society? When am I anyway? Staying quiet? Not smart. If you don't think a man in an iron suit can force answers from you, rabble, you're about to see how badly mistaken you are. And then the zombies, oh, there's another one there. They see him and they think, oh, tinned meat. And I like that. Always love speech bubbles with pictures in them instead of words. That will always be one of my favourite things. And Ashley Wood uses that quite often, and to great effect, because the zombie isn't thinking in words, it's thinking he's a man in a tin suit, is meat in a tin can. That's brilliant. And then the zombies attack him, and oh no. And this is one thing I definitely stole from Ashley Wood, is these little like jagged star expressive exclamation sound things. Just when something's happening, you put like a thing there, like a little like ch-ch-ch-ch-ch. I use that all the time. It's all over Death Fist. There's a few in Gun Viking. It's just so simple, just to show if something's happening in a very specific place, you just like put a star around it, kind of, just to sort of emphasize there's something happening. Oh! That's all it's doing. It's just going, oh, it's happening. There's things. Then and now. So he's talking to the robots, being like, oh, you're gonna go on a mission, and you know, since you're so big, you get a big weapon. Here's your big weapon. Is this thing on? Yes, quite, but you're not programmed to joke like this. Please don't. Kablam! The robot blows the scientist's head off. Shit. Well, this one's fighting all the zombies, and then one of the zombies gets a finger in one of his eye holes. Obviously pokes the glass out. I like the zap and the zombie's skull coming away. He's obviously got like Iron Man blaster hands or something. That's really cool, like the thing. And all the mess of like colour blocks and stuff. There's browns and greys in there, and duotone dots and ink lines and whited out parts. And it gives almost the texture of a painting, but you can clearly see it's not. It's really, really interesting. Some interesting and cool artwork in there. And then poot, he comes out of the portal with a zombie on him. Oh no. But then there's the robot with the big gun, and he sees this. That's a really cool little montage as well. Zombies and the robot heads and the robot with the gun and the... so good, man. Clop, clop, clop. I love this. How, you know, the panel is just drawn with just straight marker pen. You can see like the uniform line of the marker pen. Wobbly lines, just whatever. Feet. Shoulders, head, guy, buildings, ghosts in the machines. And then, like a digitally painted piece, a destroyed city. Really, really nice. Like, almost minimalist in terms of, like, line and detail. Because if you look at it, like, from a distance, let me see on camera. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's a lot going on. And there is a lot going on, but... when you look close, it's like just lines, and then the use of light and shadow with the digital painting in the backgrounds and stuff, and the thing, and then the silhouette in the middle. It's really, really effective. I really like that. And I love the colour and tones as well. And that's another thing I absolutely copied back in the day, is Ashley Wood's exact like palette of chosen colours. So the guy in a big trench coat, looking like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when they disguise themselves in trench coats and hats. Oh no, there's zombies around. I like this sort of close-up of a raw fucking zombie face. They're attacking him. He's biting him on his hat. Oh no, not the hat. So he yanks his head off. That's fucking cool, isn't it? Turns out it's a robot. Oh my god, it's this guy, the robot with the gun, with the... It's him. This fella here in the I like this. Another one like Ashley Wood using those little moments. Face, punch, punch, chop his head off, pull the guts out, punch this, punch that. Zombie head, zombie torn in half. About to stand on a zombie's head. Blackness. It's really, really cool. Nice little thing. I love this little... There's so many different, like, kind of storytelling bits and moments. Like, these two panels look different to all the other panels. This one panel, all these sets of panels. Use of light and dark, use of duotone dots and ink lines. And then, like, a guy, zombie guy, and the robots and the people, and then the dead people and the skull and a baby. I love this, the tunnel in the mountain, all the zombies around. The robots. The robots are not the zombies, they're another thing. And they've got the last human baby. And this is how we save humanity or something. Zombies and the red dot's really cool, and they eat the zombie, eat the brain, and then the baby, and oh no, the zombies everywhere, what are we gonna do? Cool painting, an actual physical oil painting from Ashley Wood. There's a few of those in here. There's a gallery at the back. We'll look at that. I love the non-use of rendering. Like, half of this painting is just underpainting, and then there's so like minimal chunks of paint, but again used very, very specifically in very specific places and directions to show this really specific form of this robot's body and its sort of arm joints and wires and stuff. But then the way it's like messily, almost roughly, quickly painted, like chunky dark shadows, and then it fades into like the dust of the background with this zombie sort of hunched over in the foreground. And even just the hunching zombie, it's so typical to draw them like going, but then to draw just like a person kind of fucking hunched and like almost in pain, almost looks like he's going to be sick, but the feet sort of, you can feel them scuffing along the ground. Minimal colours, great composition, just fantastic painting. Yeah, zombies and the robots, and they're trying to protect the baby. The zombies are breaking into the facility and the robots are fighting, and they blast him and his intestines go fucking everywhere, and he shoots him on the floor. Speech bubble with a skull in it, he's saying death, and then he shotgun blasts the zombie that's already on the floor, and then its blood fucking splats up, and this is really, really smart. The blood going up, the baby crying, the robot looking at the baby. Blood going up, the baby crying, blood going up, baby blood, baby blood, baby blood. And then the way the blood is drawn, like it's going up and then forming into a blob, and then it comes downwards into the baby's mouth, and then it's got like a skull on it instead of the shiny bit, and then it goes into the baby's mouth, and the baby's mouth gulps, and the robot goes bugger. To the one remaining living human, it's accidentally ingested zombie blood. Death. Crowd of zombies. This zombie looks cool. And a big fucking crowd of zombies. Thousands and thousands of zombies all heading towards the facility in the mountain. Fight scenes. Punching zombies. Headbutting zombies. Blasting zombies with guns, them getting decimated, and they're all like a wave of them fucking encumbering the robots, and this robot fucking bashing through them. They're pulling the robots apart. Oh no, he needs batteries, he needs brains. It's just speech bubbles with the images in them. Battery, brain. And then the baby is dying into a zombie baby, oh no! And then it gets his head blown off, which is quite funny. I think this guy's name is Bertie. Oh yeah, there you go, Mark 6 Bertie. He's one of Ashley Wood's like recurring robot characters. Advanced model, my ass. And I love that this is clearly like an oil painting with duotone dots, I assume added digitally. It gives a really, really interesting feel to it. But yeah, just I love it. It's like there's chunky metal arms. I love those. That they're not these like intricate, windy pipe tube wiry arms. They're these big chunky metal things with big chunky metal fingers. If you've seen Ashley Wood's toys that he designs as well, they're basically the same thing. They look like they could exist. These drawings look like they could exist as physical forms, and when you see them in toys, it makes perfect sense. Holding the gun like that, really, really cool, with the skull painted on the front of his dome piece. And he shoots the doctor robot. Oh no, he's gone crazy. And he goes over to this thing, and he clicky clacky, pops the cover off the big red button, presses it, and there's the robots and the zombies and the zombie baby head on the ground. A total reboot, being the missiles firing off all across the globe. And the zombie going, nuclear explosion. Have you seen the Fallout TV show? That's relevant to that. Fallout 4 had an update, and I downloaded it, and it broke my game, and I'm really, really pissed off about it, because I've been playing it for a little while, and I was really enjoying it. Like I had almost a newfound enjoyment for Fallout 4 because I'd left it alone for quite a while. And then this update came, and I was like, oh shit, cool, an update. A bunch of Creation Club content and some new stuff and graphical changes and stuff. And it stopped the game working. It won't let me save the game. I've done everything possible to try to remedy it, but nothing's happening, so I guess I'm just fucked. Everybody's gone. Almost. There's a few left. And he pulls his gun. Draw. But then one of them washes up on a shore, palm trees and the beach and the water, and a zombie gets up out of the water. He goes sniff the air. Meat? Is that meat? And then pole through the head from an Amazon. Oh my god. Cover gallery. The paintings are so cool. It's like the exact kind of shit I wish I was painting. And I should, but then it's not. I shouldn't, because if I start painting robots fighting zombies, it's like, well, it's already the thing. You don't need to. But I could do gunfighting, fighting ghouls or something. Really, really cool paintings. They look like they take him a couple of hours. It doesn't look like he's stressing over them and doing them painstakingly. He really looks like he's just busting these paintings out. But that doesn't make them any less good or any less well executed, because he seems to know so well what he's doing that even if he does it quickly, which he appears to do, I've not seen any footage of him painting, so it might be more labour intensive than I'm assuming it is, but from appearances and how it looks, from what I know of painting, it looks like these are done quickly, but again with a surety and he knows what the fuck he's doing, doesn't he? That's brilliant. I'd love to have seen these as individual comics. I wasn't really buying comics and stuff at this time if they were released as individual comics. But if this is like the front cover of a comic book, how could you not buy that? This is cool too. Obviously, they're all cool. I'm not as keen on this one. I think because of the red, it stands out too much for me. Because none of the others have that much colour on them. I really enjoy these brown tones. And the really, really heavily textured sort of beige paint he's using. It could almost be like wall paint for a house. Still, it's a good painting. I just, red, whatever. And I love the boldness and the chunkiness of the shapes of his robots. But then they still have a human element to them, in with how they hold guns and how they stand, because that's quite a human stance. But obviously, not a human. Then the skull painting's cool. The end for now. And this looks like it could be a really quick sketch done at a convention or something, but I don't think it necessarily would have been. It just has that vibe about it, but I love that it's in the fucking book. That's the end now. I can stop it here. This is a new sketchbook, by the way. As most things go, I think I'll start a new sketchbook, and then the image in my head is, at the moment, a smaller sketchbook, a little A5 sketchbook. That's what I'm feeling at the moment. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to go and buy an A5 sketchbook. Fuck, bugger. I hate having to buy shit. I already bought that basketball. I don't want to buy fucking... Oh, excuse me. And now look on my shelf, just here. I see this, and I'm like, wait, is that? Surely that's full of sketches. That's like an old sketchbook that I've just stuck there randomly for some reason. And I open it up, and I'm like, shit, no, it's like basically empty except for like some random notes. Fuck is this? Fuck is that? Culture, wild, mimicry, family, language, pigs, art. What? Goblins. See this? I got this book specifically because I was going to fill it with notes to write my goblin book, which I would still like to write someday, but you know, can't afford to just sit and write a book about goblins. As much as I'd love to, sadly I cannot. It's not being used for that, clearly, so it's my sketchbook now. And the paper's actually really decent. It's a very smooth, thick-ish paper. Ballpoint takes to it very well. I've had a few of these kinds of sketchbooks of various sizes. Oh, and I was really like, I remember looking through older sketchbooks and missing the rougher, like multicoloured pen drawings and stuff. And so with this book, I really do want to get back to that. This page, I think I started it as a sketchbook and then tore it out to use it for the goblin book. I think this was a drawing of my desk, like my lamp and boxes of shit. So I started it. So this, I drew this like a couple of days ago. I started it as a new sketchbook. Someone's commissioning me to do a skull / plague doctor drawing, to like do a plague doctor / skull, but not have it look like a bird skull, which would be the obvious thing, as per their request. So I've got a few designs, and he's got some notes, so I'm going to try to implement those at some point. And these were notes again for the goblin book. Life cycle of goblins, basic biology, diet, sex, procreation, death, food chain, bees, toxicity, all about goblins. And I was going to make a bunch of notes on all of these subjects and then basically turn that into a book. Bart! I did a pink Bart. Where's my pink Bart? I did that. Oh, you probably saw it. I think I might put that in, but I'm not sure. Because like I was saying, more current sketchbooks, it's like one drawing per page, and a lot of them are stuck in rough drawings and they may be coloured in, and then a few like stuck in that you can fold over and stuff. And it's cool and they're fun to look through, but I feel like they don't have the same sketchbook energy that my older sketchbooks had. They're just like collections of images. And I'm aware that's because I don't sit and draw in my sketchbooks like I used to, because it used to be largely on my lunch break at work or whatever, and I'd just be sit drawing in my sketchbook because there's nothing else to do, and I'm not drawing anything like a commission or whatever, I'm just doodling. And so my books fill up with those doodles, which are very fun to look at and fun to do. But then my more current sketchbooks, it's like, I need to do a commission, here's a rough drawing for a commission, here's a neat drawing for a commission, and then it's painted somewhere else, and that's about it. And sometimes not even that. A lot of them are done on rough sheets of paper, knowing it needs to be traced at a bigger size or whatever. So with this sketchbook, I really want it to sort of keep some of that older sketchbook energy. So I am putting in rough drawings and stuff, little rough Bart on his skateboard and Bart's on his skateboards and stuff. Because I didn't know if I wanted to have him on his skateboard or if I wanted him being a nasty little graffiti man. There's going to be nudes in it, of course. There's going to be tits and asses all over the place. And there's like 3 different drawings of me trying to figure out how the fuck to draw someone about to do a dunk. There's a ball, blue, 2 pinks, and then I got this guy on top. And that's what I want. That's what I want to see in this sketchbook. I want it to be lots of like doodles and rough sketches, and then shit done on top of that. So that's the energy we're going for. And then this is something I'm vaguely aware of but haven't looked too much into, but someone has requested a commission of, and it has therefore given me an excuse to do at least some level of research on. So that's basically what these drawings are, and it's Murder Falcon. I was going to say Rooster. See, there's Gun Viking, there's Death Fist, there's Nuke Rooster by Jevin Loop, which I did a cover for, and the comics are cool. I've got some of the they're cool. I like his drawings, which feels like a bit of a cop-out thing to say, doesn't it? Yeah, I like his drawings. No, his art's cool. He seems really cool as well. I don't know the guy, but he commissioned me for some artwork, so he's got to be one of the best people on the planet. And then there's this Murder Falcon, which looks really, really cool. The artwork looks really, really cool, and it's by like a, I think it's the same guy who recently did or is doing a Transformers comic, and I never gave a fuck about Transformers. But the artwork in this comic looks really, really fucking cool. So that might be something I might have to check out just because the artwork looks so fucking good. And Transformers are like one of those like old nostalgic things. Oh, I would love Transformers, and and fucking the one that eats the Unicron. I mean, if you look up Unicron eats planet animated thing, and there's a video of it on YouTube. It's really, really fucking cool animation. Sound effects are a little bit silly, but the animation itself is really fucking sick. So I appreciate aspects of Transformers, but I never really gave a shit about them in general. The toys are really cool because of how sort of smart the toys are, that you can like turn a car into a man thing, and like that's kind of genius in itself, but that's about where my interest stops. And then there's the new movies, which are just ridiculous, just nonsense. So says me. That's my poo sense on the matter. Poo sense instead of teeth. But the artwork in that comic looks really, really cool, so maybe I'll check it out, maybe I will. And I believe it's by this guy who has done he's done a few things, but this Murder Falcon is one. What's the gist of it? Let's do the Google. I'm just looking at the Google right now. My internet's been so horrifically slow lately, and today the downstairs is Airbnb Wi-Fi isn't turned on, or maybe they've caught me out and decided to change it or something. Daniel Warren Johnson. What a name. Daniel Warren Johnson. The name works, actually. That's a pretty cool name. Let me just throw him into Google separately. Just to see if he is the Transformers guy. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, he's doing the current Transformers, and it does look really, really good, to be fair. Right, Image Comics. Murder Falcon from Daniel Warren Johnson, the creator of Eisner-nominated series Extremity. The world is under attack by monsters, and Jake's life is falling apart. No band, no girl, no future, until he meets Murder Falcon. He was sent from the Heavy to destroy all evil, but he can't do it without Jake shredding up a storm. Now, with every chord Jake plays on his guitar, the power of metal fuels Murder Falcon into all-out kung fu fury on those that seek to conquer Earth. It's time to shred. So there's like a musical metal sort of through line with the comic. And as far as character design goes, Murder Falcon looks really fucking cool. He's got one like giant robot arm, which, you know, if I haven't already said it enough, the one big arm thing is something I'm kind of into. It's an aesthetic I'm a fan of. The one big arm guys. If there's a guy or a gal or a character, whatever, with one big arm, count me in. At least for, you know, the visuals, if not the story and shit. And this is one big robot arm, which is cool. I'm not always into robotics. Again, the Transformers thing, but if the artwork's cool, then, I mean, who am I to say boo to that? Let's fucking gizzly gizzo. Let's go, you schmo. And so, yeah, I've got to do some research because it's for a commission. Someone said, could you paint me a picture of... I've had several people recently change their... Maybe it's because I'm taking too long with commissions. I'm taking too long to get shit done. And then they're like, oh, well, since it's been so long, I've decided I want something else because I don't like the original idea anymore because you took too long to do it. I'm sure it's nothing to do with that at all. It's just people change their ideas. So this person had another idea that they wanted me to do a commission of, and they were like, do you know what, actually, did you fucking murder Falcon? And I was like, oh fuck, I heard of that. I haven't really seen, I don't know, I'll have to order the book online, but again, there's issues with that, so I'm sure I could find it somewhere, but I've not seen it in any stores. I might have to take a trip to London. And I'm not against that, because I did for I did a Last Ronin painting. And for that I did buy a whole ass Last Ronin book just to help me do that commission. So I'm not above or below getting a whole book just to, you know, use as research for a single commission. If I can afford it. Sometimes I very, very much cannot afford to do that. Sometimes I can. I think if I found Murder Falcon, if I found the book, I would get it. But if I can't, you know, it's not the end of the world, is it? Would be nice, but Google exists. I'm sure I could find less than legal digital images of the pages if I really need to do more research. But because sometimes you can Google image a character, do some drawings of them, and then produce a piece of work based on that. But if you don't know the story and you don't have as much context, you will be missing something. You can absolutely add a lot more information and a lot more like character to the piece if you actually know elements of the story. And I've sort of been in I've multiple times I've been on both sides of that, where I have done commissioned pieces based on characters I know nothing about, and I've done my best to like draw and paint the characters, but all the while knowing I have no idea who this character is. I found out about them as soon as somebody asked me to produce a piece of work of them. I didn't know about them before. I googled them, found some pictures, and here's a piece of artwork, and that's about it. But then there have been other times where people have commissioned me and either I've already known about the character or I've gotten hold of the books and whatever and given myself more context, done more research, and the artwork has not necessarily been better because of it, but it certainly has had more almost more life go into the creation of it, because you know there's almost you have more life of the character going into the fucking whatever, you know. You get it. Sometimes research is good, sometimes it doesn't matter, and sometimes you can shut up. So this is one of those times where I have 0% knowledge on like the story, the characters involved, anything like that, who Murder Falcon is, where he comes from, barely what he looks like. I like the design of the character that I've seen so far. It does look fun. I love the chunkiness of his metal arm. It's got like a lot of bits to it. It's got this like bar going over it and this big chunky like shoulder pad part and like a few different elements and things to it, which could be fun to play with because it's fun to paint like basic shapes like this, like oblongs and rectangles and these like thick circular like big screws and things. It can be fun to paint those sorts of shapes, which I actually did learn to enjoy from trying to copy Ashley Wood's robots and things. Those chunky shapes that he makes his robots out of are really fun to sort of draw and paint. I think because if you get the angles right and the light and shadow right, you don't have to do much shading. Because if it's an arm, like a regular fleshy arm, there's like you've got to tone it right as it curves down, away from the light, and there's reflected light and shit. Whereas if it's like an arm like this, if this is the wrist and there's like a hand, then this side's in shadow, that's easy. This side's not, that's easy. So it's not just because it's easier that it's nice to paint, but there is something fun about and sort of visually pleasing and tactilely pleasing in terms of like how it feels to draw and paint that sort of stuff. There's something nice about it. It just feels like nice. It's just nice sometimes, isn't it? It's just nice to be nice and do nice things. Fucking or whatever. And then he's got all these like intricate little tubes and things, so it's not all. I like that mix as well of like big chunky metal parts and then intricate wires and cables and things. It's a good design, very good design, very good indeed. And then he's got this like, I don't know if it's like a control panel or just an insert piece where the arm connects to his breast, his chicken breast, fucking whatever. I mean, I could almost just like take this drawing, blow it up a bit, and paint that, and that'd be fine, wouldn't it? I will try to do more than that. I'm going to try to put in some background elements because it's a fairly sizable commission that the person wants. So it's not going to be just some like the character on a background with a couple of blended colours and some paint blobs. He hasn't specifically asked for there to be more than one character in it. He hasn't asked for any of the other characters from the comic to be in it. So I might throw one in, like Jake, I guess, is this long-haired blonde guy who plays a guitar, and from the synopsis, the outline of the story, music plays quite a large part of the comic. So him having a band or not having a band is part of it, I assume. So it feels like it would be not out of place to put that guy in there somewhere. But I'll see how I feel. It depends on like if I draw like a really rough. I did want to show those actually. So I did a video talking about my Gun Viking Death Fist painting. I hope I haven't lost the things. But I did like really quick roughs for those. Yeah, so that was my rough for the Gun Viking side, and that was my rough for the Death Fist side. And that was like it. And then I traced it and painted it, and that was it, basically. Which doesn't always, it's not rare, but it doesn't happen as often as I'd like to, that it comes out that easily. Like I did the pose for Gun Viking, and I was like, oh, I'm happy with that. Did the pose for the Death Fist, and I was like, I'm happy with that. There you go, done, boom. Sometimes it can take days of rough sketching different poses and different compositions and stuff. So I'll do something like this for this Murder Falcon piece for the commission. If I do that and I get the character of Murder Falcon and whatever pose I put him in, if I feel like another character would fit in that, either in front of him, behind him, around him, somewhere, then I might do that. But it might just work out that visually, to me at least, as the painter, it's not going to work with another character, then I'll leave it without another character, and he can just have the one character, and he'll just have to make do with just the one character. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need. That's a song. I think it was on House. I think it became like, not the theme, but it was used multiple times with purpose on the show. You can't always get what you want. See, because Dr. Gregory House can't always get what he wants, but if he tries sometimes, he might find he gets what he needs. See, because he can't, you're this genius doctor, but you can't always just do it the way you want to do it, just because it works every time, almost, except for when you kill that baby. But Dr. Gregory House, if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need, which is your best friend getting cancer and then you faking your own death so that you don't have to go to prison or whatever, so you can spend the rest of your life, or the rest of his life, with him. But then when he dies, and then what are you going to do? Just be pretend dead forever now? What's the plan, Dr. Gregory House, MD? This has been the House MD section of the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think I could have a lot of fun painting Murder Falcon. I think just his arm will be fun to paint, because it is blues, and I like the blue metal vibe. It's got a couple of orange stripes on the thing and some robot metal line bits and screws and things. So that would be quite fun. And then his body is a big muscular body, and he's got a falcon head with a almost solid snake-like headband. The design of the character is really, really cool. I do appreciate that. I appreciate some nice character design. And yeah, trying to keep the rough looseness of the sketchbook. That's what we want. It's what we want to see in this sketchbook. I did, looking through the past couple of sketchbooks I've done, there are some really good artwork in some of them. Some paintings, some drawings, a lot of stuff stuck in, which I've got time for. I do like sticking stuff into sketchbooks. But there's so many pages that's just one drawing on this page, one drawing on this page, one drawing on this, and it's just a bit ugh. Just fucking get lots of drawings on a page, get some rough stuff going on, do experiment and get shit in there. Fucking, why is everything so perfect all the time? I miss the mess and the little experimentations that come out of it. The little doodles that turn into bigger pictures, or don't even turn into bigger pictures. They just are doodles for the sake of doodles, but they're fun. Do you know what? I'm going to be perfectly honest. There's been times in recent times, very recent, very, very recent, some of them, where I've seen other people's sketchbook drawings, and I sort of feel bad because I'm like, see, I used to do my sketchbooks like that, but I was better. Looking at these other people share their artwork, their sketchbooks and things, and thinking, oh, that's really cool, but not only could I do better, I have done better in the past. I just don't do my sketchbooks like that at the moment or anymore. Apparently, I could if I wanted to. There's no reason I can't. So I think that's what it is. I'm trying to battle that side of me, or not trying to battle the other people, but whatever ego is in me to be oh, their artwork looks cool, but it would look cooler if I was doing it. And I feel that way a lot sometimes. Brilliant, Ewan. Just brilliant. Do you feel that way a lot sometimes? That's marvellous. You should write a book about goblins or anything else, you know. Write a book about language. Go on, you, and do it, you prick. I try not to have an ego too much. I try to be, you know... Well, for the most part, I don't want to be alive. So when it comes to, like, ego stuff, ego is based around, like... Not necessarily, but from my point of view, it's, like... Yeah, based on want and... Oh, I want the fame that this person has. I feel I deserve, or I'm owed this or that. Whereas I tend to not have any of that because I don't want to be alive. I don't want to be here. So the idea of like having this or having that is irrelevant because I don't want this or that. I don't want to be... I don't want to exist. So why would I want fame, fortune, or you know, success that other people have got? But every now and again, it creeps in and it goes, hey, remember when your sketchbooks used to look like that? But you could do it better. Go on, Ewan. Do it. Prove to everyone that you still got it. Prove that you're still worthwhile, that you're relevant. Prove that you're valid. Go on, Ewan. You're only valid if your artwork looks good. That's the only value you have in life. And if you're not doing that, then you're worthless and you may as well be dead. Ewan, you fuck. So why aren't you doing it, Ewan? Why aren't you? Why are all your sketchbooks just fucking turning into scrapbooks? What are you, a fucking housewife? Some middle-aged white housewife who's taken up scrapbooking as a pastime hobby because she's got shit all else going on in her life. Or the husband's at work and the kids are at school and she's got all the cleaning done, or she has a cleaner to do it for her. And then what? Oh, take up scrapbooking. Brilliant. Oh, now your sketchbook looks like a fucking home decor section of an arts and crafts shop. Good for you, Ewan, you fucking turd. You used to be good. You used to be fucking cool and do cool shit and make cool shit. Now look at you. Reduced to fucking scrapbooking. Oh, is it because of commissions? Oh, is it? You sure it's not because you're a boring fuck and you've lost something? You can't quite pinpoint what it is, but there's definitely something missing that used to be there. You fucking... Oh, look at that though. Murder Falcon. He's looking cool, isn't he?